Welcome to CrossTech World 2024. It is my honor to introduce you to a great colleague in the industry who is bringing money movement in a different way through Mastercard. So please thank you for accepting our invitation. I would love for you to talk a little bit about who you are and how did you hear about CrossTech?
Awesome. It's great being here. CrossTech is well known in the industry, and sitting here with you guys is great. And I hope I can share as much insights as I can to enrich this conversation. So I'm David Goldschmidt. I am the head of business development for transfer solutions at Mastercard in Latin America. So I lead all related business development activities related to transfer solutions and our suite of solutions to help tap into this segment of remittances and cross-border transfers.
Thank you, David, for being here. And for those who doesn't know me, I'm Priscilla de Oliveira. I'm the CEO of CrossTech. So I want to start with the hard questions. Let's talk a little bit about challenges. So as you know, cross-border payments, we have regulatory changes, we have instability sometimes in the FX exchange. So what have you seen has been the biggest challenge for Mastercard to enter into this new segment?
Yeah, I think starting with what everyone knows, the consumer challenges and the, call it SME challenges, which also enter into this remittance plus space. It's a segment, it's an area that today it's kind of broken. There is a path towards a light at the end of the tunnel, but in reality, a lot of people are struggling with a payment that should not be a struggle, right? So it's crazy. You can go to, you can take your card, right? And you can go to Thailand and you can buy something at the POS and right away you get the product, you leave, he's happy, you're happy. But then when it comes to sending money across border, even if it's as short distance as US to Guatemala, all of a sudden there is struggles along the way, right? Yes. There is delays in the transaction, or the cost is, to your point, on fees is not very transparent. So we have seen that there is a systemic broken ecosystem in this space. Of course, we did our own research, so we had a borderless report survey that was produced a couple months ago.
I read it. It was very popular in LinkedIn and all the social media. I think a lot of our customers use that some as a benchmark for them to reproduce into their products and services. So thank you for that. That to me, it's like a contribution to the cross-border industry. So David, one thing that I always like to say is when there is challenges, there is always opportunities.
Yes.
So talk to me about, since you found those challenges, what opportunity came for the new products that you have been able to launch?
Yeah, so we brought in a new way of sending transfers. So instead of having, typically you have, call it two ways. You can have the traditional way that money is moved with correspondent banks. So if you want to send money from here until Thailand or whatever it is, right? You may have multiple intermediaries because they work with correspondent banking relationships. Mastercard comes in with a new way of moving money, which is very simple. We have banks in each destination that holds local currency. And then when you want to send the transfer, we tell the local bank that is part of our network to release the money. So we come to solve it from a infrastructure way. We have a better way to move money. But we also overlay a lot of the thought leadership, consumer education, to ensure that, because this is not about technology. 20% is about technology. 80%, it's really about changing people's behavior. And these people are really not on their day-to-day, learning how to make a new electronic transfer. So Mastercard can contribute with technology and with education and empowerment.
And I think that leads you to change behavior, how people do things, right? And I think that's the power of the network of Mastercard. It's not only providing the technology, but to move people to do new payment methods. There is an example I wanted to bring it to you. I'm Brazilian. I don't know if you knew this, but
I didn't. You
but
don't
in
have
Brazil,
an accent.
But in Brazil, they have the technology Pix. You're probably familiar with it, which has been really transformation. And I think it's exactly what you said is. People were skeptical in the beginning how the adoption of Pix is going to be so fast, but it's exactly the same Mastercard strategies. How do you change people to adapt to a new way of payment because it's better for the overall ecosystem? And I think Mastercard through the money movement product, is that what you call it?
We call it Mastercard Move.
Yes, Mastercard Move.
Yeah, so absolutely. So Pix is interesting because we have our own story, right? So we launched before Pix WhatsApp Payments in Brazil, jointly with Meta and with the other brand.
Amazing!
It was awesome, but then Pix came, and the reality is that they did such a wonderful job that the adoption of Pix in the market, to your point, was scaled.
Yes.
Of course, there's an element of regulation that the government orchestrated to ensure that all the user experience is the same, and then call it empowered the banks to be motivated to drive awareness of their solution. So to drive consumer behavior, it's not one size fits all. You need to really tackle it on a 360 basis, and that's the hardest part.
That's the hardest.
Cracking the code. I think whoever's going to win this space, which by the way, we can all win a piece of it, but the biggest winner is whoever can change consumer behavior.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the future. How do you see the future? For us, innovation is a big piece. We have tomorrow our award ceremony where we invite innovators, fintechs, startups, crypto companies to bring their new products and services for us to evaluate with our judge panel. So how does Mastercard within technology, consumer behavior fits into the innovation?
Yeah, so we have, of course, our Mastercard Move platform, which is revolutionary on its own. I think we have one of the leading solutions for money movement. But in addition to that, of course, from a Mastercard perspective, Mastercard lens, we have a number of other assets that can complement our value proposition to the ecosystem, not only to Mastercard as a whole. For example, the cyber intelligence assets that we have one solution that I personally really like. It's called Ekata. And what you do is, companies that we bought. And what it does is that you can, when you're sending the transaction, if you give it an email, phone number, an address, it basically gives you a score whether that's the right entity or individual you're sending money. And the black box is that they're connected to a bunch of data sources in the back end, so they can really validate whether you're the recipient. So you know how in the US you have the Zelle, and it's say, are you sure you want to send money to David? So this international. So I'm excited. We have a couple of other cyber intelligence assets, but I think innovation is going to come, of course, AI, generative AI. It's going to come with cyber intelligence securities, the assets of money movement. So again, it's a compilation of different assets that build this new value prop.
And I want to invite all of our guests. There is an innovation panel that we're going to be doing in day 2. So please make sure that you join. So tell us about your expectation for CrossTech so we can finalize. What are you looking for? Yeah,
if I were to meet every single person that is here in their offices, it would take me about 75 years to travel to each place. So having everyone that is relevant in one place, in one home, is priceless, as Mastercard says. So I think just connecting and ensuring that, this is not about Mastercard winning. This is about the ecosystem being disrupted to ensure that the people, the businesses, live better lives. Payment should not be something that they have to think about. Payment should go in the back. Payment should be something that it's, they don't even think about it. And we're there with the industry to tap into this challenge.
David, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
We're looking forward to seeing you here again with us next year. And I hope you enjoy the panel conversations. You meet wonderful people in the conference. And today we beat a record of 518.
Wow, congrats.
So you have 518 members to meet and to network. Please stay with us and don't forget to follow CrossTech World 2024. We're looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you so much.